everybody, David Herring here again. Welcome to ProviderSmart by CNSG, an AppSmart company. And today we have our good friend from Bigleaf Networks, Ryan Beer. Ryan, how are you?
Hey, doing well, David. Thanks for having me.
So great to have you. We're going to talk about some resources for our partners. We're going to talk about some things that they can do to sell Bigleaf, and we can work together with you. But first, we got to talk about something kind of fun. I was thinking back, and this was years ago when I first met you, 4 or 5 years ago. You're Ron Beer's son. And I was like, I thought to myself, I started in the channel with Ron Beer back in the 90s. It's kind of funny. Your family is kind of like the Manning family of the channel. We have a little bit of that going on here with Matt Hardy and his son.
Yep.
What's that like following your dad? That's pretty cool.
It's been great. I mean, obviously it's helped me with a lot of the relationships in the industry and things like that, and, helping me get my start. Now being at somewhat of a competitor is also funny when we're at events and things like that is also really interesting. But no, it's been nothing but good things, and always hear good feedback about his reputation throughout the years in the channel.
Yeah, and he's got a spotless reputation. And Michelle, I think Michelle Katalich at one point introduced me to him back in the 90s. And that's kind of funny you say competition. Have you ever been up against him on a deal? Like
indirectly in some opportunities, I think so. Yeah. And one ends up being the better fit than the other or something like that. But yeah, there have been some opportunities where it is a little bit of a competition. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotta make holidays interesting when you're talking about stuff like that.
A lot of boring conversations at the dinner tables. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Bigleaf. So how did you get your start at Bigleaf?
Yeah, so I was coming from another master agent where I was doing channel support for the Southeast and in a channel management role, and actually ended up having a conversation with Randy Friedberg from your team about Bigleaf, this startup SD-WAN company, less than 10 employees. So about 4 years ago, when I joined Bigleaf as the only channel manager for the whole East Coast, we were about 6 employees. So now going on, 70 employees or so 4 years later has been a lot of growth, and now me in this director role for the East Coast, handling our whole East Coast.
That's what a great story. And so that's your sales territory, the East Coast?
Yes, sir. Yep. So I run our East Coast, and we have 2 channel managers and then 2 partner development managers as well to help your partners.
Got it. What a great team. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Bigleaf and some of the solutions and services that you offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So really what we focus on in the SD-WAN space and what we want to help partners do is provide reliability and somewhat predictability for applications that their customers are using. And when I say applications, I mean things like hosted VoIP, Office 365, Zoom, Salesforce, cloud-based medical record, point of sale, all of these different applications that are running over commodity internet connections now. What we do is aggregate those multiple different internet connections together and share that traffic, share those applications across the different internet connections. So if someone's on a VoIP call and a circuit has a problem or it drops completely, now that VoIP call can move between the multiple circuits without having a problem. So we are really a natural fit to pair with other services that many agents are already selling, like redundant circuits or cloud services like hosted VoIP. That's really what we are implemented into the network to provide reliability for and predictability, like I said earlier.
That's what a great service, especially today. We're taping this where I think we're 4 or 5 months into the pandemic. And I can imagine Bigleaf has gained some business and some market share just with being able to do those types of solutions, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it changed some opportunities we were working before COVID, and it's brought new ones on now that COVID's happened. So that, has been interesting for us with our SD-WAN for the home office service that we have as well, where that's really put into place most of the time over a single internet connection at somebody's remote office or at their home, like I have in my home office. But that's going over a single internet connection most of the time to prioritize the applications you're trying to run from your home office now. So your network is not set up like your network is at your office, where you can freely run Zoom and VoIP and all these beautiful applications that everybody wants to use. When you're at home, you're competing for a lot of that bandwidth with other people at home or your neighbors and things like that. So what we want to be able to do is ensure prioritization for your Zoom and your VoIP calls and things like that you're doing from home over YouTube videos and Spotify and less important Netflix, all the less important traffic that's going on at the same time. Yeah.
So do you hear that, partners, that this is something you're going to want to bring up on probably every conversation? If you have a lot of your customer base that's working from home, here's a good way. I was just telling you before the call started, I was talking to a partner, and Bigleaf has done a great job of putting themselves in that space. Like that, this is who you call for this type of solution.
Yeah. And I've been using, sorry, I was going to say one more thing. I've been using the home office service or Bigleaf in my home office for a few years. So the idea of this, thought and over a single internet connection has always been there. It just really wasn't productized as a separate service for us until, kind of the pandemic came and forced us in the direction. So just wanted to mention that part too. Yep.
No, that's great. And that's a great segue into my next question. So those are the types of solutions you apply. Give us a couple of sentences or a couple of questions that one of our channel partners could ask, or one of the CNSG AppSmart partners could ask, to kind of get the conversation going to get you a good lead or a good opportunity.
Yeah, a lot of where we get started easily in opportunities is that first kind of reactive sale where a partner knows the same customer they hear about is having VoIP problems all the time, or they're having circuit problems all the time. So that customer is ready to buy something to fix that problem quickly. So that reactive sale of fixing an issue is very easy for us to get installed and do all that good stuff on the front end. Where we're trying to get to is that proactive sale of asking questions on the front end when you're selling that VoIP service to the customer, to say, okay, you're putting this VoIP over a residential or a couple different coax circuits, maybe some fiber. Let's think about putting in some SD-WAN here so that if you do have a circuit problem, your VoIP's not going to have that problem later on. So try to get more of that foundational approach of layer in your foundation, so anything you put in on top of it can, is sturdy and can perform from a network standpoint. Yeah.
And just so I understand from a technical standpoint, that SD-WAN is going over the top. So that's why they're providing more capacity and better bandwidth.
Exactly. Yep. Over the top of whatever multiple circuits, the customer wants to use and the partner wants to sell at that location, we're giving them the ability to use both of those circuits now for all of their applications to avoid, random things that happen over the internet, like packet loss and latency. We want to be able to see those issues and make those things not affect the applications the customer is using.
And in terms of footprint, so Bigleaf can probably go anywhere, right?
Yeah. So we have 7 geography. Exactly. Yeah, we have 7 POPs around the United States and 3 in Europe today. Yeah.
Got it. That's great. Okay, let's talk about some wins or maybe a case study. This has been such a weird year. I mean, a lot of our agents, again, we all got started to work from home in March. It's been a different year for big wins and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Tell us about something that's happened good or big from a Bigleaf perspective that we can talk about.
Yeah. So we've been a natural fit for healthcare for a long time because of our approach to security, where we sit outside of the customer firewall on the WAN side. So we're not affecting their security posture in any way. So for healthcare, that's really important because they put a lot of effort into their HIPAA compliancy policies that they've put into those firewalls over the years. So, one win for us was an assisted living facility. They have about 30 locations. They have firewalls at each location, but they're using cloud-based medical record and now Nextiva hosted VoIP at all of those locations. So where they were seeing problems with some circuit issues causing cloud-based medical record to drop, that's where they said they need something in here to make sure that those applications don't fail if one circuit has a problem. So that's where great. So we're starting to see some more of that, where cloud applications are so widely used now that everybody understands that internet connection is almost like the power connection to your business now. That can't go down. Yeah.
I like to say, you've probably heard me say this, you're talking to a CTO or you're talking to an IT director and he or she is telling about, some of the challenges they have. And I just like to say, what Ryan and David are doing, it's the oxygen in the room. It's literally the most important thing for that assisted living center, literally.
Yep. Access to their phones, being able to dial 911 and things like that. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Mission critical.
Yep. So they did a large scope of different SD-WAN providers, but what kind of brought them to us more than others just for this specific opportunity was that we weren't going to edit or complicate any of their firewall policies for their HIPAA rules they had put in. So just transferring to that firewall. Mm-hmm.
And then one last question on that deal. So did that partner, was that a series of calls probably, or was it something that partner did to get his or her foot in the door, or as a lead or an opportunity?
Yeah. So some of the questions that were good qualifying questions for that opportunity were what applications are you using today? What's important that's going over the internet? Because sometimes customers don't know what a cloud application is. They don't know that something is cloud-based. They just know they're using it, which is okay. They're not, experts in this like we are. So, some of the questions that you're thinking about is, what's important to you that's going over the internet today? Are you running any VPNs, things like that?
Nice.
What is your security status today? Where are your firewalls? Some things like that. Those are good qualifying questions that really, those 3 or 4 questions can kind of lead you in a few different directions of 1 or 2 SD-WAN providers. And sometimes it will include Bigleaf and sometimes it won't because of our approach to security. We're a little bit different in that sense.
Yeah, that's great. What a great story. Let's talk a little bit about how you and your team really want our partners to engage you. How do you want the CNSG AppSmart partners to engage the Bigleaf team? What's the best way for us to do that?
Yeah, early and often. I like that. Just, obviously everybody probably says that, but
but it's great. It's so true that not a lot of people do it. That's a great point.
And us being able to pick up on little things we've learned over time, of little things in an email that can, make you the better fit in an opportunity, or sometimes be able to disqualify ourselves out of an opportunity, which is important too in the early stages. But when you're engaging Bigleaf, it's me and then our 2 channel managers and our partner development management team that's really there to enable sales efforts from a marketing standpoint, getting on calls with our sales engineers if we need to with your team. And that kind of stuff. So really, any quote request can come directly to us, and we keep the CNSG team copied on everything as well. So that teamed approach is what we're there to do, and a lot of our sales are very quick because of how easily we're implemented in the network. So we a lot of 1 call closes when we're on the phone.
Yeah, and you're so well thought of, Ryan. It's our team. Our managing partners frequently talk about you and Bigleaf. Myself, Matt, Tyler, with the channel managers, we love working with you guys. I think the partners really enjoy, coming to you, bringing you opportunities. And I'll also remind all of our partners, we have CNSG Smart, where you can go on our supplier site, and there's some great Bigleaf tools and resources there to kind of help you get started. Let's wrap it up a little bit. Maybe any last words or anything that you want to wrap it up with to give our partners?
I think when you're thinking about where Bigleaf is a good fit to kind of simplify things, it's that customer that is starting to move things out over their internet connection. So, that is cloud applications that they're starting to use. VoIP is such a big driver for what we do because it's so inherent to hearing every little problem on the phone whenever there's a circuit problem. So we want to be that reliability portion of the WAN network to ensure application performance.
Yeah. That's great stuff. Thank you, everyone, for attending another episode of ProviderSmart, put on by CNSG and AppSmart Company. Ryan Beer, David Herring. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.